let's talk about Kids See Ghosts. We obviously Kanye's in week 3, going on week 4 of his song music rollout of late May into late June, middle to late June, and this might be possibly the best project he's released yet. You know, he released Jay last week. He produced all of Daytona, Pusha T's latest album the week before. This is his collaboration with Kid Cudi, which he's been talking about doing for a couple of years. You know, I alluded to Turbo Graphics.
16.
Yeah, 16 before. And this is finally, you know, them coming together. They've obviously collabed on songs since, what, might be Full Dark Twisted Fantasy or even before?
No, Welcome to Heartbreak on 808.
Right, Welcome to, 808, it's great.
And then he got signed to Good Music after that, Cudi.
So they've been working together for a while, and they always, whenever Cudi shows up on a Kanye track, it's always great. I mean, you think, maybe not always, but you think about Gorgeous. Like, that's one of Kanye's best songs. Welcome to Heartbreak is wonderful. Father Stretched My Hands Part 1.
The Cruel Summer collabs. The only one that really is kind of forgettable to me is Guilt Trip on Yeezus.
Yeah. I when you mentioned that a couple weeks back, I totally had forgotten that they.
Yeah, I forgot about it too.
So, you know, this actually really blew me away. Because after Ye, I was a little bit concerned about this. You know, Ye had some really great moments, some not so great moments. And it felt a little rushed at points. While I really liked Ye, and I still have been listening to some of the songs off it, I was worried that he was going to rush this one and it was going to come out a bit of a mess. And I think it's actually the exact opposite. It feels like he was spending so much attention to detail on this and Daytona that Ye was kind of like the afterthought for him in a way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Ye feels very stream of conscious, the least cohesive song to song. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that any of the beats are bad. They're not. But you could, I mean, he's talked about it. He re-recorded a lot of the vocals, you know, a lot of dated lyrics about Stormy Daniels and Tristan Thompson, for example. So it just, his headspace for Ye is different from these other ones. And that doesn't necessarily mean that Kids See Ghosts was canned, you know, weeks ago. I'm sure they were working on this till the end, but I just think they captured the vibe they had a vibe they were going for. You know, I don't think Ye ever really had that.
I absolutely agree with you. Now, Kids See Ghosts, you know, Pusha tweeted a couple weeks before Daytona dropped, Kanye's been chopping. And this is kind of where I want to start talking about this, because some of the songs he pulls on this are from literally out of nowhere. On Fire, the What Will Santa Claus Do? I think it's like a Lou Primo song or something like that.
Oh yeah, incredible beat flip.
Unbelievable. Like, and also, I mean, he's sampling a Christmas song from like the 40s on this, like, and somehow it makes total sense into the song, like, unbelievable. And then he takes Burn the Rain, which is a Kurt Cobain song that was recorded just like for him personally, just his own recording, that was used in Montage of Heck, a documentary about Cobain from 3 years ago. And somehow this like makes this awesome last song on Cudi's Montage. You know, just unbelievable how he's able to think about these things and build them into the song so seamlessly. What else stood out to you about just the production element, I guess?
You know, how would you explain these beats in terms of, you know, other Kanye stuff, even Ye? Because I think it sounds kind of like Ye in a certain extent. Like Daytona obviously was very, you know, very, I don't want to say dated, but it had like an older vibe to it with that bigger, louder production that would fit Pusha's braggadocious raps. But Kids See Ghosts, and again, more vibey, more atmospheric, but also still feels kind of contemporary, you know? I mean, what would you compare this to? Because I saw a lot of Yeezus talk going around, and obviously like the jarring Yeezus stuff doesn't apply here, but I don't know, it kind of makes sense.
Yeezus makes sense. You know, it has like a psychedelic sound to it in a way. It fuses a lot of rock, you know, especially a song like Free, Ghost Town Part 2. I mean, they basically took samples from this guy called Mr. Chopped and just put the guitar samples in there, and they fucking bang, dude. This song is so good. It's very lived in, and I think actually a lot of it goes to the sense of like place. Like you really feel like you're like in their heads on this. Like you see Kanye where he's at, and you see Cudi where he's at, and both of them are at very different stages of their mental health journeys. I think that's a lot of what this record oversees. But Cudi provides this real sense of peace and calm throughout, and Kanye gives this very like chaotic feel whenever he jumps in. But the thing I gotta give Kanye credit for in this, his bars are actually really good in this.
Yeah, I think that comment makes a lot of sense. Like it's like chaotic good and chaotic evil, right? Like they complement each other so well because of that. And Cudi's been open about his mental health struggles for a number of years, and I wouldn't say Kanye is open about it. You know, it's like it's not like he's really digging deep in that, just kind of bringing it up. Or sometimes on I think you can kind of risk stigmatizing stuff where he's just kind of either using it as an excuse, he's on his whatever bullshit, or the all three perks, whatever, he's a lot of like references to it. But I think on this, he doesn't like use it as a crutch this time. And while I don't know if he'll ever really get into that, I think it's fine. But yeah, to your point about his lyrics, I thought Kanye's verse on Reborn, is probably a better verse than he has on damn near anything on Pablo.
I was gonna say maybe since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
And part of that is his his energy on the song. He doesn't feel as frenetic, doesn't feel as angry or reactionary the way a lot of his other stuff does. It just sounds very measured, and again, it feels out of place. Doesn't feel or sound like the Kanye we've come to expect the past few years. And God, is that refreshing? You know? And
it's actually, he sounds very like clear-headed, like almost as if like what he really has been like thinking about and has really been able to process in his mind comes out in this album. Whereas, like you said before, Ye is like stream of consciousness, just like whatever comes to his head is like what he's putting down on that. But this seems very thoughtful, like a song like Cudi Montage, where he I don't know if it made it into the beginning, but everybody wants world peace until your niece gets shot in the dome piece, like that's like the first time I can remember him really looking at like the perspective of someone else's plight in the world at this point in time, since I don't know, maybe on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy movie, when he was talking about all the lights, like public visitation, we met at Borders, he's talking about that sort of situation. It just is really refreshing to see Kanye not be caught up in the moment as much and looking a little bit more introspectively, and also a little bit more at what's going on in the world, and being able to talk about it in a way that makes sense is really like kind of miss old Kanye now. Yeah,
especially coming off of the lyrical content of Violent Crimes, where he's talking about the sexualization of his daughter that he can't even name. So 1 week later, you get this. Wow. So I don't want to give him like too much credit for acknowledging his mental health. I still don't think he's doing that well. But overall, this collaboration is such a success. And I mean, we think about recent collab tapes in the rap sphere. It's by far the best one. I mean, this is better than What Time to Be Alive from Drake and Future. This is better than Without Warning from Offset and 21. It's better than Huncho Jack from Quavo and Travis. It's better than Super Slimy from Future and Thug. And that's a lot. Those are a lot of heavy hitters. But this one actually really feels like the two need to be together. And again, we've had this, as you said before, we've had this for a number of years, from time to time. I mean, Cudi hasn't been on Good Music for a while now. And, I think my very first thought about this is, wow, Kanye really coaxed Cudi into his first good album in 7 years. It's been a long ass time.
Didn't you feel like Free was what Cudi really wanted Wizard to be? Like,
that's an interesting point. Yeah,
I really feel like he was looking for something to capture in Wizard that he really needed Kanye in a way to maybe pull out of him. And I think Cudi brings some sense of understanding and calm to Kanye that almost helps him access like lyrically what he struggles to when it's just him, without any kind of border or any kind of
Sure.
structure to him. It's also interesting because I feel like the features on this album were a lot better than Ye. I mean, I think the singing on Ye is just like Ty Dolla $ign and Charlie Wilson. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I want that played at my funeral. But like Rick Ross seemed a lot more lively, and when he showed up on Free in this, Most Def at the end of Kids See Ghosts, I thought was also a really great feature or feature verse. It's
Ty Dolla $ign again on this one.
Amazing. Like Ty Dolla $ign's having a moment here with these songs. So just overall, this project I liked it a lot. Where does it rank between the three that have been dropped for you?
That's tough.
That's is
tough. See, the thing about all of these albums, 7-track albums, 20 to 25 minutes long, roughly, right? The highs stand out because there's, by design, less of them. And also the misses or the duds really stick out as well because there's less songs to cover them up. So I probably would defer to Daytona on this, just because I think Daytona is a little more is more focused, and there is no song on Daytona I wouldn't listen to, and not that Kids See Ghosts is far behind, and maybe I'll listen to a Kids See Ghosts song like Reborn more than anything on Daytona. We'll find out, over time, but I think Daytona as an album definitely feels like it was the one that was, it was in the oven the longest, and I think it'll age probably the best.
Yeah, I completely agree. Daytona is still my number one out of these ones, and it's probably top 5 for me for albums in the year. Dirty Computer, Golden Hour is up there. We're going to talk about Parquet Courts, but their album Wide Awake is up there for me. So Kids See Ghosts might be top 10. End of the year might just miss the top 10, but really just encouraging to hear these two artists that I loved back in college. Kanye I've continued to love. Cudi I've fallen off a bit. Just shine and put out a project that's this coherent and this excellent.